creating, and I could almost puncture that fucking canvas because I hate it. I don't like what I'm creating. And then there's other days that I feel like I got the Midas touch. Is it that I'm bananas? Is it that I am what do they call this condition that I am up and I'm down and this and that? What is it? What's going on? And why is every other artist that I know experiencing the same thing? We can't all have the same condition. There's something that's going on. There's something that's going on that I don't understand. Dude, bro, I love you too, man. I love everybody here. I love people that show up like you guys. And I started asking myself, what's going on? How come I hate everything that I paint? How come there's days where I wake up and I'm extremely happy about what I'm going to paint, and then there's days that I wake up and I hate everything that I'm painting, and everything comes out wrong. The brushstroke is wrong. I can't even make a single fucking straight line, and I've been painting for years. I've been painting for over 20 years, and there's days that I can't even paint a single straight line. What is it? Now, this wouldn't matter to me if it wasn't my full-time living. This is why I believe that I tapped into some shit that most artists will never even consider or tap in their lifetime, because one, because they're not full-time artists, and two, because they didn't start recording this. I began to record this. And I know it sounds super cocky of me, but I'm very proud of the fact that I recorded this. I recorded this day in, day out, not just in a journal, with videos. And I started studying my videos. I recorded this through journals. I recorded this through articles. I wrote articles. I created videos, diaries. I have over 1,700 videos on YouTube. It's basically a diary. It's not a blog. It's diary, where I'm explaining how I feel some days and how I feel other days, and what's going on. What's the creative process? Why am I feeling this way? Why is it that every artist that I know is feeling the same thing? They say, man, I wake up one day and I love exactly what I'm doing. And he's like, and then there's other days that I wake up and I hate everything that I'm painting. What is it? What is it? Some people even say that it's a demon. Some people that are religious, they're like, it's a demon, man. It's a demon. It's bothering me. All kinds of stuff. I mean, not to make fun of people's religions. And that's more comical for me. I guess I am making fun of it. It's none of that, guys. It's none of that. It is one single problem. Only one. Okay? Only one single problem that's going on here. Discipline. Discipline will either make you or break you. It's the same shit that our parents told us. But they didn't do it, and we didn't do it. So we only heard it. We heard the word discipline. Hey, do something day in, day out. You'll be fine. You're going to start discovering new things about it. You're going to get so good at it. I'm going to tell you something. If you start painting every single day, without interruption, you don't slack. You start painting every day. In about 60 days, maybe even less, probably even less, but in about 60 days to be sure, you're going to start having the Midas touch. Everything that you paint is going to be magic. And you're going to feel it, and everyone else around you is going to feel it. And the most important thing is that it's going to give you that fucking train man again. It's going to give you the self-esteem that you need in order to take it to market. Because the reason why you're not taking it to market is because you don't believe in what you're doing. Because there's days that you are high, and there's days that you're low when you're painting. It's a very emotional activity. It's like fashion and music. The arts. Very emotional. Very difficult to make a living because it's such an emotional activity. And it's because people haven't cracked it down yet. I cracked this shit down. I cracked this shit down so good that I started sharing it with other artists. Most artists only show up enough to the point where it feels good They start creating some good stuff, and then they stop showing up, and then they hate everything they create, and then they don't want to show up anymore. So they zigzag. They always want to repeat the first feeling. When you first started showing up, you got so excited that you were showing up every single day without interruption, because you've never experienced that. So you had the benefit of beginner's momentum. Beginner's momentum is the benefit of every artist that's starting out. When you're starting as a beginner, you love everything that you're doing because you don't have conceptual ideas about it. That you do it for like a whole month in a row, nonstop. You get addicted to it. And so after the month, you start experiencing flow. In about a month, in about 30, 60 days, you start experiencing flow. Everything you're creating, you're in touch, you're in tune with. And then something happens. You get cocky and you start thinking that you figure this shit out, and you stop showing up. And when you stop showing up, it's the same thing as an athlete. You start getting rusted. You start getting rusty. All of a sudden, your brushstrokes don't have the bounce, the spring in them. You're second guessing every brushstroke. You've polluted your mind with self-doubt. This happens to just about every artist that I know. You've polluted yourself with self-doubt. And now you only show up hoping that you have the same feeling and the same high that you did when you first started, when you picked up the medium. Hoping that you have it, and you just don't. And there's very little moments that you have glimpses of it, and you blame it, you attribute that to the fact that you saw some really cool work and you got inspired, and it created it lit your flames, your what do they call it? Your fire, man. You created fire from it, right? You started getting inspired by something, but it wasn't enough. So you only get little glimpses. And the reason I say it wasn't enough, it's because the fire that sustains the artist is the donkey fucking work, showing up every single day. And that fire, showing up every day, creates a fire that will sustain. It will sustain that imagination, creativity. It's going to sustain it. It's the only thing that can sustain it. And so, lots of us want to have inspiration, want to feel inspired, like that first time you started using oils, or you started using acrylic, you started painting, whatever you were doing. And you can't repeat that same high, and you can't understand why. You can't understand why. You're like, man, I remember a time when I was painting and I loved everything I was creating. I remember a time when I was painting and it just seemed to pour out of me. I am the artist liberator. I am here to liberate you from that feeling of not being able to be inspired. That's how I see myself. I'm liberating people. All you gotta do is show up. Show up. And that fire is going to start burning very bright. Show up. Every day. Day in, day out. Don't show up to the studio only. Show up to paint. A lot of us show up to the studio and we start doing all this bullshit that has nothing to do with painting. Facebook ads and all this other shit that has nothing to do with painting. No, you need to show up to the studio and paint. You need to do what a painter does. A singer sings, a dancer dances, a painter paints. Painting is above everything else, guys. If you're not even painting, and you're like, I'm an artist, but I'm an artist entrepreneur, and you're spending all your time playing with Instagram or Facebook or YouTube ads or whatever, and you're not painting, I'm telling you, I've been there. I know exactly what it is. I know exactly what it feels like. A painter paints, guys. You need to show up and paint. The challenge is to do it every